We're going to talk a little bit about some tips around it, the energy around it, some things around manifestation. I'm going to put you guys to work. So if you have a piece of paper and pen or a journal, I would love that. You know, it can be a scratch piece of paper if you're typing things in like your notes app or whatnot, you know, and you come back to it or whatever works for you. But I am going to have you guys do some things outside of just taking notes for what I'm saying. If you're able to have your videos on and, you know, it just kind of helps, it's great. And if you're not, I totally get it. And I'm grateful that you're on here. But I want to just kind of get a little bit of a feel right now, like on a scale of 1 to 10, right? If you are like, oh my gosh, I hate writing goals. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm afraid that I'm going to miss them. That puts too much pressure on me. This is not fun. Or you're a 10, like I have to set goals. They hold me accountable. That's how I get better. I love to do it. I like to see goals all in front of me. Where are you? Are you a -3? Just kidding. But are you a 1, a 2, a 9, a 10? How do you feel about that? I just want to kind of get a sense of all of you guys on tonight. A lot of 8s. Good job. Couple 10s, couple 9s, couple 5s. There's no judgment here. I mean, I get people all the time. I'm like, send me your goals. And then I get crickets, you know, and then some people, they send them right away. And I'm always like, why is that? Is it because it's like, I don't know what I'm doing, or the fear of it maybe not coming true? So we see, I thought on the bottom of the scale was 3. And then I saw some 10s, a lot of 8s and 9s. The other thing I want to ask you is, you hear us talk about manifesting, right? Like Jess talks about that all the time, right? And we have read books around it, and it's like, oh my gosh, you have to manifest it. You have to visualize it. But that's actually a skill to learn how to do it, because you can't just say, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a top earner in Isagenix, and it happens. Like, I wish it was that easy, but it is really not that easy. So different scale, 1 being, I have absolutely no idea how the law of attraction works. I have no idea really how to manifest, but it sounds awesome. Or 10, like I could teach a course on this. I absolutely believe in the law of attraction. I manifest every day. I know what I'm doing. Tell me where you are on the skill set of manifestation. And I applaud you guys for your vulnerability and transparency here. A lot of 7s, couple 3s, couple 9s, a lot of 7s. Couple 6s, couple 3s. Rosa, 10 through God, right? That's the faith, the glory is. 8, 3. Okay. So you guys can see we're all over the board. And then one of the coolest things about our training calls is like, we get to work on things together. But what I really want to empower you and like encourage you to do as well is go back and teach someone else this. Right? Like if you're working with someone and now like you're going to have these epiphanies and you're like, oh my gosh, now I know what to do. Right? And help someone else. So if you go, hey, send me your goals for the week, and you get crickets, you know, say, hey, I just got this amazing training on really how to properly align myself with goals. Would it be helpful if I taught you some of those things? Would you have a couple minutes I could show you on what to do? Because I really want to see you excel in all areas of your life. So one of the first things is I want you to get out of this headspace just with Isagenix. Of course, we're going to talk about Isagenix. We're going to talk about your business, but I like to always like goal set or plan different areas of my life. And of course, there's a crossover, but sometimes I like to really compartmentalize them. And I do this monthly, I do this quarterly, I do it annually, you know, and I start to get really, really clear on financial goals, spiritual goals, or my faith goals, health goals, my relationship goals, and then also my business. So some people have more than that. Some people have less than that. Sometimes it's just like finances, relationships, and health, you know, the spiritual ones that might not necessarily be in there. So my financial goals and my business, of course, cross over, but they're a little bit different. Like when I think about things specific to Isagenix, like what number leader in action I want to be in the company, you know, what number income earner I want to be, what are my ranks, you know, who am I rank advancing, what trips am I winning? That's different than when I think about like mine and Ryan's long-term financial goals. Where are we investing? Where are we contributing? You know, what is our total net worth? Like those types of things, if that makes sense. And you can see how they're similar, but they're different. Okay. When I think about my health goals and when I think about my relationships, not just my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my team members, my relationship with my stepchildren, my relationship with my parents, my relationship with, you know, whatever that is. And I'm thinking like, how can those get better? You know? And once you kind of get into what you're working on. And you guys don't have to do these all at once. There are 3 things that I will tell you that will help you the most with bringing things to fruition. Getting out of this, like, I don't know where to start, or I'm so afraid they're not going to come true, or it's like so weird because I don't know what's realistic. Okay, right? All that noise that starts to creep up. And the first is have like crystal clear goals. Be as detailed as you can, whether it's something you're working on for the next 30 days, the next 6 months, the next year. I mean, the more detail, the better. Not only because you're like really getting your reticular activating system going, but it will also help you reverse engineer them to create a plan. And the second is to write them down. So this is really challenging for a lot of people, but in your head, you're like, oh, I already know what I'm doing. But to actually write them down many times, see it, reflect back on it, you're going to start to move in the direction. So if I had said in 2014, when Janie told me I'd be a millionaire in this company, you know, I'm going to be a millionaire in Isogenics. Maybe that would have happened, maybe in some indefinite time period, you know, maybe that would have not have happened, you know, maybe I would have been distracted. But she asked me things like, what number millionaire did I want to be in the company? She asked me what month, what year I wanted to hit it. Like, there was some planning around this, and I would write out, I am the 324th millionaire. I'm the 325th millionaire. That's what I thought it was going to be, all over the place. I happen to be number 305, but I mean, I would write out, I am the 325th Isogenics millionaire with ease. I mean, I would like write that out. And like, you planning these things in your head. So I always say, like, brides are so good at goal setting. They don't realize it's goal setting because they know exactly what they want. You ever talk to a bride about her wedding? There are no details that are left behind, right? From flowers to music, to colors, to weather, to people. Like, it is all perfectly in there because it is that big of a deal. And that type of crystal clarity where like the senses are involved. How do you feel? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? You know, where are you? Everything around that is huge. Then the third part of this is the language. And we're going to spend some time going through this. So the law of attraction does not understand negations. And what I mean by that is the universe doesn't speak no, don't, can't, won't, any of that. And here's what I mean by that. I have a little kid over at my house. I have a little toddler, right? And I say, hey, don't slam the door. What do you think is going to happen? Type in the chat if you think what's going to happen. Here goes a little boy running at my door. I'm like, hey, don't slam the door. Type in the chat what's going to happen. Absolutely, my door is getting slammed because all he heard was slam the door, right? And if I say, hey, will you please close the door quietly? What happens? I'm like, hey, please close the door quietly. What happens? The outcome is totally different because you speak exactly what you want. So when you think about a money goal and you say, I don't want to be in debt, what you really told the universe is, I want debt. Because they don't understand don't or can't or won't. Like, that language is not the same with the universe. So it's like, I want debt. Like, that's what you put out there. So instead, you start to write that into, I want abundance. I want a plethora of wealth. I love having extra income to travel and put away into savings after I've paid my bills with ease. Like, the clarity in the language around that is so important. And one of the ways to do this is to pretend as if, like, it's that it's already happened, or whatever the problem was has gone away. So we want to get rid of things like, I hope, I wish, someday, you know, I can't wait. Any of this uncertainty, you're not going to manifest, you're not going to attract what you want, and you're not going to be able to get the clarity that you're looking for. So if I were to say something like, I can't wait to be a platinum in Isogenics. I can't wait to go into the, you know, the platinum lounge at Celebration. Like, it's like, what? Like, where is that coming from? When you say, I'm so thankful and grateful that I achieved the rank of platinum in 2023, And now I get to enjoy a massage in the Platinum Lounge with my mentor because I worked my tail off, right? Or if you're back to the money one, you can say, I love being freed from debt. Like you're grateful for what doesn't exist anymore. I am so grateful. Like when people are in a tough relationship, I'm so grateful that I escaped from a toxic relationship. It's gotta be clarity that it's past, it doesn't exist anymore, or future as if it has already happened. So the same person in a bad relationship, you say, I love being in a healthy relationship. I'm so thankful I found a partner who celebrates me, who honors me, who cherishes me. And this gets tricky. You guys can see, imagine someone in a really unhealthy relationship and you're trying to help them get out of it and they're forward speaking something that doesn't even happen. We want to be able to work for that. So when you catch yourself writing goals, remember, you want to be crystal clear, you must write it down, and then the language is as if it has already happened, either past tense or present, but not this like someday type of thing. So along with my steps, here's a few extra little bonuses that, you know, if you ever like Google how to write affirmations, you know, how do I write proper goals or tips for goal setting, you're going to see some crossover. But here are the ones that I absolutely believe are crucial, no matter if it's your financial goals, if it's a relationship goal, if it's a health goal, okay? The first one is belief. If you don't believe it, no one else is going to believe it. Now, it doesn't matter how far away you are from that, right? It's that you know it's possible. So for example, someone who has to lose 5 pounds to feel a little less fluffy and jeans that are a little too tight knows that if they drink a little less Pinot Grigio or, you know, have a little less Froyo, they're probably going to get fine and lose those 5 pounds. Someone who has 250 pounds to lose, right? I mean, they want to lose more weight than like their weight would be at the end of it or something. That is not an easy journey. And that takes a like absolute commitment to be able to say, I can do it. I believe I can release 200 pounds, right? I believe I can get out of $200,000 in debt, like whatever that is. It's the belief and the certainty that will come with that because your actions, your emotions, everything else is going to follow that. And so our limiting beliefs hold us back. So one of those things is like absolute the certainty around it. The second is to visualize it. You have to see it as if it is not, as if it has already happened. So when I give you some of these examples, they're not in order, but I just want to like be able to apply this to you. When Janie poured so much belief into me that I would be a millionaire in this company, I started acting as if it had already happened, and not in an arrogant way, not as in a narcissistic way, but my posture, who I sat with at events, who I surrounded myself with, the skill, the belief in this industry, the trainings I went to, because I said, I have to align with that person. I have to grow. I have to learn something, right? I started doing things differently because I believed that was going to happen. So when I was single and really lonely and really unhappy, and I was complaining to my girlfriends, and I was in my mid-30s and all of my sisters were married, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to find my person. Every guy I date is an alcoholic. Every guy I date is emotionally unavailable. This is what I kept saying, right? So imagine what I kept finding. Like you're already getting it, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh, like every guy I go out with doesn't call me back. That's what I said. So guess what kept happening? Okay. And so I worked with a life coach, and she had me do some exercises that were honestly one of the toughest things I've ever done in my life. But every day, like I look at my husband, I'm like, I completely manifested you. So when I was the most lonely, which was if I came home from a trip or at night when I would go to bed, she would like want me to visualize if I had my ideal person. She's like, don't go to bed lonely, go to bed grateful that you have someone who loves you, that asks how your day was, that tells you you're beautiful, right? She's like, when you come home from a trip, I want you to imagine some guy carrying your bags up the stairs, having a glass of wine ready for you. And when you're in that unhappy pace and you're trying to like create this, like the thing that doesn't exist, it's not easy. But I'm telling you, like the day I met my husband, I was like, oh my gosh, you like, I did all these things. Like I drew you in. And I tell people I would not have been ready for him a year before, 2 years before. Absolutely no way. I was a different person. So when you're thinking about your goals, If it's weight loss, I mean, visualizing the most fit version of you, right? The most healthy version, strong version of you. If you're visualizing money, like imagine opening up your back office and what cycles do you see on a Monday, like opening up your bank account and like whatever it is right now, like add a zero to it. Like when you're doing your visualization, like you check your balance and whatever is in there right now, there's an extra zero. Like just think about how that starts to change. We talked about writing it down. One of the things behind this is the purpose. Like that's your why, but like, why is it important? Because if it's not important to you, it doesn't really matter that you wrote it down. So people who are not money motivated and you really try to like do all these things to grow with their money habits, it might not feel important to them and it's not going to show up in the way that they want. But if they are motivated in a way because they can serve more, they can give more, they can donate more, suddenly there's got to be purpose behind that goal. When I work with people all the time for weight loss, because I'm in this industry 21 years now, and I always ask people, why do you want to lose weight? And when it's like, I'll feel better. I'm like, what does that mean? Like where, how? And you got to dig into it. And someone says, I'll be more confident when I show up at my kid's school. I won't feel so sad when I put on my pants every day. I'm going to have more energy to go for hikes that I used to do. And there's purpose behind it. Then you start to see why we have this in motion in the first place. You have to commit. Like without question, like you can write it down, you can put the vision boards out there, you can have it in the best positive language, but at some point there's a commitment like, okay, I'm going to do this. I remember one of the very first times we went to an Eric Worre event. This was back in 2014. And we learned like how to recruit 20 people in 30 days. And I'm like, what? Like, are you kidding me? And we did it. I mean, it was something that was like seemed outrageously impossible at that time. But other people told us it was possible. We believed we could. We started to visualize what those 20 new people on our team would look like. We wrote it down, but it was a commitment for 30 days. This is what I'm doing. You have to stay focused. I'm a big fan of sticky notes because they're everywhere, right? If I just write something on like my notebook, if I don't pick up my notebook that day, if I don't make it into my office, I don't start to see it. And I have things on my fridge and I have it on the back of my phone and I have it in my bathroom mirror and I have it on my car. It's really hard to like not stay on track because it's like this little reminder all the time of like, hey, you said you were going to do this. Hey, you said you were going to do this. And the last two I will tell you that I think are key in this whole thing is you have to have a plan. There has to be inspired action. And it's really easy to be like, I'm going to do this. And then what? Where am I going to do it? How am I going to do that? So if I thought about when I enrolled 20 people in 30 days, one of the things was time blocking. How many people was I going to call? I remember hearing it would be 10 to 20 conversations for 1 to 2 enrollments. And I'm like, man, I need 5 enrollments in a week. That means I'm talking to like 100 people, And so I wasn't on a Sunday, just call 100 people. So I thought, okay, I've got to call 10 people at this time, 10 people at this time, 15 people at this time. And there was clarity around it. You guys know how many people every New Year's, I'm going to lose weight. And for like 5 days, perfection. And then all the old habits creep in, right? Self-sabotage comes in. And by February, the gyms are not packed anymore. People have gone into their old habits. They've sabotaged and those goals went away. If someone's serious and they start to say, this is the amount of cardio that I'm doing. This is the amount of weights that I'm doing. This is the foods I'm not eating. These are the foods I'm going to eat. Like there's a plan. Something's going to happen. Our business is the same way. If someone's getting out of debt, like there has to be a plan. How much money goes to bills, how much money goes to savings, how much money goes to, whatever that is. That's why there's financial advisors. It's to put a plan together. And my last little tip where if you don't know how to do this or how to make them happen is accountability. Someone who checks in on you. You guys, about a month ago, I did that call on that spreadsheet that Laura and I had come up with together because we're texting that back and forth to each other like nobody's business. And it works. Like there's some days I'm like, I don't really want to make my reel, but I can tell you what I don't want to do more is send my sheet to Laura that my box isn't checked off and that I made my reel. Like that is like, okay, I said I was going to do this. I have to do it. That accountability, if you think about, oh, I'm going to the gym at 6 a.m. You guys, I don't even know the last time I went to the gym at 6 a.m. I love to work out. I'm not going voluntarily. But if Erica Rothenberger is in town and I tell her I'm going to be there, like I'm not going to not go. right? I'm going to be there ahead of time. Like I told her I was going to go. Accountability is huge. Okay. So those are some things that absolutely are going to help with that. Now, I promised you that we're going to do some work. I want to get through a few more things and we're going to practice a few things. So when you think about manifesting, or when you think about bringing things into your life, you've written some goals, you have some idea around it. There's a flow chart here that, she said 3:45 a.m. 3:45, I should just stay up through the night. I forget going to bed. I should have a better chance of just staying up all the way through the night. But if you think about manifesting, there's a flow chart. Okay. And if you think about this becomes this, this becomes this, this becomes this, I'm going to walk you through this because this is like so important behind everything. Your thoughts become emotions. Your emotions become behaviors. Your behaviors become your identity. And your identity is what you manifest. So I get up today and my first thought is, my business sucks. My cycles aren't where they wanted to be. I didn't enroll anybody last week, right? Those are my first thoughts. So my emotions, what do you guys think? Type in the chat. How am I feeling right now? I got out of bed. I was like, my business sucks. I didn't enroll anybody in last week and my cycles are down. What are my emotions right now? Pretty crappy, down, dull, defeated, shitty, right? All the things. Okay, so then I take on those emotions. Do you think my behaviors are to like pick up the phone and recruit 5 new people because I like am a 10 out of 10 in belief of what we're doing? Or do you think my behavior is to totally procrastinate, scroll through TikTok, right? I laughed so hard when Jess said, watch cats on Roombas the other day. That actually made me laugh. I was like, is that a thing? And I had to look it up. It's actually a thing, right? And like go through, watch all the French Bulldog videos. Like what is my behavior going to be? So then my identity, that what I affirm, the story, my business sucks. I'm not a good network marketer. And then guess what shows up? No enrollment, no cycle growth. Now let's go through another scenario. I woke up this morning and I go, man, I feel good. I'm energized. I'm awake. I have purpose. I've got clarity around these goals. I am excited to tackle the day. I just had an amazing sleep. I'm like loving the new nootropic, right? Like, how do you think I feel right now? Awake, alive, energized. How do you think? What do you think my emotions are behind those thoughts? I'm excited, magnetic, right? I'm on fire. I'm ready to go. So then what do you think my behaviors are? Like, I'm going to sit around and watch TV and like eat bonbons today. I'm like, no. I'm like, where can I go and meet some people? I want to go to the gym. I'm going to a networking event. I'm going to go work in coffee shops all day long. I want to put my makeup on. I want to get my hair ready. I want to go meet people. And then my identity is like, I'm fun. I love what I do. This is great to design my own life. And then what shows up? People that want to be a part of what you're doing. And this is like in every area of your life. So think about your relationship. I remember when Tony Robbins, and this could be a relationship with anybody, it doesn't have to be your significant other, but in my head, it's my significant other, said, if you were to trade expectation for appreciation, how different things would be. So if I get up and my first thought is like, man, Ryan didn't unload the dishwasher like he said he was going to, which by the way, would never happen. He always does it. I'm just saying, if that was my first thought, and then I'm annoyed with him. So then instead of like being attractive or, kissing him and asking questions, I'm like, ugh, and I go and do my own thing. And then I'm cold, he's disconnected, and people start to be like, how you guys doing? It's like, we're fine. And guess what starts to show up? More things of like, oh, you didn't do the laundry. Oh, that's not how I like my chicken cooked, right? And you start to see how this stuff happens. And people do it with their friendships, they do it with their team members. And it doesn't mean you're like oblivious and you can't approach those things. But even when your energy is different, you start to focus on different things or you address them so differently, right? So if my first thought when I get up is like, man, I'm so lucky that I have this man that makes me coffee every day, that by the time I come down, the coffee is already ready. Like, I'm excited. right? So the first thing I want to do is like kiss him, right? My emotion is like, I'm happy. Like, this is a good thing. Like, you bring joy to my life. And then someone goes, how's everything with you and Ryan? I'm like, man, he's awesome. Like, we just had so much fun over the weekend, and our relationship continues to grow. It continues to flourish because we're focusing on all the joy. You guys, it's the same thing with your health. When I get out of bed, and the first thing when I'm like, you guys, I taught a lot of group fitness for a lot of years. If I happen to hit the ground and the first thing out of my brain, my thought is, man, my knees hurt right now. Like, oh, my back is really hurting. I'm mad, right? I go to the gym. I'm not pushing myself because I'm like treating myself all gingerly because everything like hurts, right? And it's not great. And it just spirals from there. But there's a book called I Can Think Clearly Now by Wayne Dyer. If you've never read it, it's amazing. But he talks about your brain as a conveyor belt of thoughts, and you can pick something up. We can't ever control when we get the thoughts we don't want, but don't go in that path. Switch it. Be like, nope, not today, right? Put it back and then pick up a new thought. Pick up something you want. So what will happen sometimes, you guys, I get up, my feet hurt, my knees hurt, and I'm like, I'm not going down that path, right? And I go, man, I am so grateful that my heart is strong. I'm so grateful that I've got freaking powerhouse lungs. I'm grateful I can hear. I'm grateful I can see. I'm grateful I can talk. Today's going to be an amazing day. And I immediately switch into my strengths. And so am I going to go pound the pavement and do plyometrics that day? Probably not. Those are the days I get to go to yoga. And I perpetuate the thoughts because I get to be there and go, man, I love that at 11 o'clock on a Monday, I get to go to hot yoga. And then instead of focusing on my knees hurting and not having the workout that I wanted, my energy is up. So I meet like-minded people in yoga and I talk to them and I'm excited. And you guys can see how this starts to show up, okay? You cannot receive more if you're not grateful for what is. I want you guys to hear that again, okay? The universe, God, spirit, I call it Gus, all the things together, right? You cannot be given more if you don't appreciate what already is. There has to be gratitude for every little thing. And I tell you, if you start really feeling that, if you really start to lean in and be grateful for all of the things that we take for granted, for all the things that, man, if we didn't have, how different things would be, you will start to get more doors opening, more connection with people, more blessings dropped into your life because you appreciate it and you receive it. When it's like, I'm not going to be grateful until I get this, you're going to miss it. It's going to just like literally get skipped all over you. I mean, imagine every time you put on a pair of shoes, you're like, man, I'm really grateful for these kicks. You know, every time you listen to music, I'm grateful for music. You know, when you got in your car, when you saw a friend for the first time, when you got together, when you got paid. You know, imagine if for every cycle, instead of being like, man, I only cycled 6 times this week, and you had 10 one week before, you're like, I am so freaking grateful for every one of those 6 cycles. You know, whatever that may be, that is going to change everything. So, you guys ready to get to work? A little bit? Okay, the first thing is type in the chat just so that we see where everybody's at. If you right now with this exercise, if you're going to work on a health goal, if you're going to work on a financial goal, if you're going to work on a business goal, something in your isogenics business, tell me what you're going to work on specifically right now. Business. See, all these money motivated people. You guys always tell me, I don't want to be in sales. No one wants to sell anything. Look at all these people. Look at everybody validating that we want to be in sales and are money motivated, okay? So let's go through those 4 things to kind of help you start to practice. Number 1, affirmative language. Instead of I would like to, or I hope to, I want to, I will, I can, I am. So think about that language, right? So for a long time, you know, when I was in my weight loss journey, I was like, I want to be a size 6. I want to be a size 6. That was like my standard. I want to be a size 6. And I can promise y'all I never was, because I was saying things like, I want to be. When I started saying, I am a size 6 with ease and it feels freaking good. I love going into a clothing store and shopping size small. So with your business and you're like, I want to be 3-star, you're not going to be. Let's just call a spade a spade. You go, I am a 3-star by celebration. I am a 6-figure income earner recognized on stage in August 2022, Orlando. My team loves recognizing me as a 6-figure income earner at NYKO, January 2023. Like whatever this is, think about, I want to be an Isogenics millionaire. Erica Rothenberger could type you in here right now. I'm so thankful and grateful for being an Isogenics millionaire. She knows what number, she knows what month, like the clarity behind it, and she's gonna be. So y'all better be prepared to celebrate her because I know it's around the corner. The second one here is I want you to think about the subject. And we talked about this a little bit, but I want to remind you as you go through this and you start to write them out, which it's what are you focusing on? This goes back to the universe doesn't know the negations. So the kid who slammed the door, you said, please close the door quietly. So if we think about money, okay, don't say, I don't want to have debt. You say, I am abundantly wealthy. I am living a financially free life. I have enough money to pay for bills, to save and go on travel trips with my friends. So the goal is on what you want, not what you don't want. Definitely avoid the negations. And then the last little piece of this is speak kindly. So remember, your body is hearing the things that you're thinking, which are going to change your emotions and they're going to change your behaviors. It's going to change your identity and you're going to manifest something different. So when you think about the business, okay, and you start to say, I am an executive. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, you're not. You're not a leader. No one's going to enroll with you. You're not capable of this, right? No. You hush that drunken monkey up, right? Stand tall, you affirm it, and you're like, I am an executive with ease. God gave me the skill and the ability to lead others. I am a powerhouse. I love making an income through impact, and I have so much fun in the process. I mean, you got to say it out loud. You got to believe it. You got to tell other people and own it as if it has already happened. So love on yourself throughout the process. It might not happen as fast as you want. It might not happen as effortlessly as you want, but you've got to absolutely love in the process. So we're going to do a little bit of these writings, and I would encourage you guys. I'm going to put a little bit of music on. I'm going to give you a couple minutes. And then if somebody wants to share anything, I would love. Don't feel like you have to. I'm not going to force you to do it, but I want you guys to kind of see how other people are doing this, because I think that it will be really powerful for you to see where other people are at, and you can kind of learn from other people as well. But start to write out a goal and reverse engineer it. So if you say, I want to make $20,000 in my Isogenics business through this summer between now and celebration. Okay. So that's like $6,000 to $7,000 a month, basically, right? The rest of May, June, July into August. Okay. Well, how many cycles is that a month? How many cycles is that a week? How many people do you have to call, right? This is your plan. How many rank advancements do you need? How many events do you need to have? Like start to kind of put all that stuff into place. But when you're writing that out, like I am easily earning $20,000 in the next 3 months. And you write that goal out, start to put all these things into place. And I want you to write it out into detail. And now here's where that manifestation comes into place. How does it feel? Who do you tell? This is where you start to tell your brain that you believe it's already possible. Okay. So I want you guys to do this for a little bit. I'm more than happy to share with you some of the things that I've recently written. And then I would love to hear from 1 or 2 of you guys as well, if you're comfortable kind of sharing, but hang tight with me. Don't hop off the call yet, because I actually have another 4-step little training. I'm going to give you guys that I love, that I just got out of this book I'm reading. So hang tight with me for just a minute, but work on this. It'll be really good for you. I'm going to put on a little bit of music and give you just a couple minutes. Okay. Okay, guys, just for the sake of time, and you can go back to it, and you can always go a little bit deeper. Does anybody want to unmute and read and share anything that they have? It's like the fastest way you'll find out.
Hey, Lauren, it's Janelle. Hi, guys. How are you? So I just want to share. So Lauren and I were just like texting just for like 5 seconds before we jumped on here. And, you know, this works 1,000%. This works, right? I brought this into my life the last few years. And even for me last year, I started speaking at the end of December. I guess it would have been 2020, and just saying my team is in massive action. Today, I'm attracting people who are, right? I took the picture of the top 10 in the East Coast region, and I put my face there, and I put my team's face there. And then 2 months later, like I was #1 in the Southeast region, and my team member was #2, you know, and I had massive action in my business all last year. So it was like, okay, it's time to get back to those things, right? Like, so what specifically was working, what wasn't working, and what do we get to add? And then I had a meeting. I know Julie is on here and Adrian Pulley is on here, and with Kristen, other leaders in my team, and we're doing a 90-day summer business blast. And what we sat together for last night for 2 hours, we talked about like, what are the stories we make up in our head that keep us from staying committed to our commitments? Because like Lauren said, it's like, it's really about being in the present moment, guys. Because when we're thinking about the past, where are we? We're usually in regret, right? We're regretting it. We're feeling bad about it. Or, you know, if you're doing life review, like that's awesome, which we should do. But, you know, it's like, or if you're in the present, you're usually worried about the present, or you're like frantically planning it. Like it's nice to plan a little bit, but if you can keep yourself in the present moment, like mindfulness, journaling, and meditation are the 2 greatest tools you can have. Because we live 95% out of the subconscious. And like Lauren said, if your belief isn't there, your words aren't creating it for you. What you write on this paper are not going to create it for you. Whatever you say.
I'm calling you out. Tell us your goal.
My goals? Oh, I'm 3-star. I have no problem saying it. 3-star by celebration, for sure. We're taking, Kristen is already executive. She's going to 2-star. Julie's going to executive, and Adrian's going to executive. So, and we have our 90-day plan. We're going to have it solidified by the end of the week. So, but I just want to share
right there, like her belief, her conviction, you guys, like there's no wavering, right? Plus she knows who's coming with her, like what they're all doing, the accountability, and that's what'll come to fruition. Does anybody else want to read anything they have and with some details? Like, how does that feel? Like, thank you for sharing all that, by the way, Janelle. I love that.
You're welcome.
I love you. And It's so true. You guys need to follow her because she puts so much value in her pages about this type of stuff all the time. So go follow Janelle right now. Her page is amazing. And the content that she puts out there. Anybody else? And a little, like, go deep. Like, how does it feel? What is that reward? What do these things bring into you? Like, you've heard Jessica, say how she was writing about the beach house way before the beach house was there. She was writing about the blue Suburban way before the blue Suburban came in. Those are what we're talking about. Anybody else want to be able to write anything or do anything, a little share? We're here for you. It's safe space.
This is Emily. You can't see me right now, but
we can hear you.
You can hear us. All right. I am a powerhouse leader inspiring hundreds of women to live a life of freedom and abundance.
Boom. That's amazing, right? So one of the things around that's a really good affirmation and I love it, but I would encourage you then to go a little bit deeper on like, what is that doing? And so that allows you to accomplish and then put the goal in there of what you want. Like hundreds of people coming into your business does what? Like gets you to 4-star with ease, allows you to do XYZ in the house, like
4-star by celebration.
Boom. Boom, boom, boom. I love it. Okay, you guys. So I will tell you, like, I write this stuff all the time and you hear that Jessica does it as well. And I'm going to share something with you and then we're going to do one other exercise. But I send this stuff to Anna, Holly, like to Laura, and not because I need them to know like my ins and outs, but because it holds me accountable. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's in my head. I'm thinking that, right? Like I was thinking about it on the Peloton. I'm thinking about it in the shower, but the pen to paper exercise is so valuable, right? And it gets those creative juices going and you start to think about everything, like what Janelle did to cut out the picture and put her faces, everybody else's faces around that. Like there's another layer of that. So I said, thank you, Gus. I told you that's my person, God, universe, and spirit, for allowing me to become a top earner, to provide me the skills to impact thousands of lives while creating our dream life. Thank you for creating opportunities for the most incredible travel experiences, for opening doors for me to contribute more, for making the most purposeful and powerful connections possible. Thank you for making me resilient so that I became the leader I am today. Thank you for blessing my family abundantly with wealth and health. Thank you for all of the lessons so I could show up boldly for others. Thank you for making me unstoppable. Thank you for making me clear. Thank you for allowing me the drive to get better and better every single day. Right? Like that's my habits. That's my behaviors. Like I write things like that. So I live in complete abundance. We have multiple streams of revenue. We have a generous travel fund. We have designed our dream outdoor kitchen and it is so fun to host summer parties. We have everything we desire in our basement. I love our indoor sauna. I love our fitness center. And we're so grateful for living healthy and fit lives because of everything you have given us. We are so grateful and we are a magnet for more, for opportunity, and for the ability to serve others to create their dream life. So like you guys, we're designing a house, but there isn't even lumber in like, we have a hole right now, we have dirt, right? We have like, the house is like not even started, but I tell Ryan all the time, I walk around, I'm like, baby, we're gonna have, and he's like, can we just like build the house? And I'm like, no. And our basement is not coming finished. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, man, we're going to have this and I'm going to work out downstairs. I'm going to teach classes in the basement. And he thinks I'm nuts half the time. And this is probably like a 2025 goal, but I see it. Like, I know exactly what that looks like. It's his little man cave bar. I know exactly what the gym looks like. I know exactly how that feels and that buzzing around, like that excitement. That's why then I work so hard, right? I'm like, I don't sit down and be like, I can't wait to message 20 strangers on Instagram today, But what gets me buzzing is me thinking about the purpose and how my husband's going to feel in this outdoor grill. And then I'm so excited when I'm messaging people. I'm like, man, I have a hold of something that you want because I'm focused on their dreams and their goals because I know that this vehicle does that. Okay. So who has read Audacity to Be Queen, Gina DeBee? Has anybody read this? Put a 1 in the chat. If you haven't, buy it tonight. And I found out she's in isogenics and like building like her house is on fire. So I even love her that much more that she's in our company. I think Jess said she went executive in like 2 weeks or something. She's cross-lined to us, which is even more fun. But anyways, I love her book and I think she's amazing. And there was an exercise in there that I thought was so cool. So just so you guys know what I'm gonna walk you through, this is not my content. And if I do it disservice, Gina, I apologize. I'm doing the best I can, but I thought it was super, super awesome. And it was, she always talks about this queen, like, don't be a princess, be a queen, okay? And there's 4 things we're gonna go through. And one is, where are you craving something better? So we're back to that, your health, your fitness, your business, whatever that is. What actions are misaligned? Truly identifying what you are doing or what you are not doing with what you're actually looking for, where you're trying to improve. Then I'm going to have you draw the version of you that's the saboteur, that's sabotaging these goals, right? That's like literally coming in the way of keeping you from your best self. And then I want you to write your letter, hello queen, of exactly what you want and how life looks a little bit different. Okay. So I'm going to, like, when I tell you guys I do this, there's no way I will ever ask you to do something that I am not going to do myself. So my thing, where are you craving something better, was my business. More rank advancements and cycle growth. I'm going to be super raw with you guys. Last year at this time, I was the #2 leader in action. I did not drop below the top 10 the entire year. I ended at #5, right? My rank advancements last year were bananas. That is not the case right now. I'm still doing okay. I'm going to Fiji, right? Like, my mindset has not changed, but I know, and I pulled up a report and was like, I got work to do, okay? So the area that I'm craving something better was very specific, rank advancements in my business. So then what actions are misaligned with my words? I'm like, I want more rank advancements. Okay. So I was like, I'm scrolling through social media. I'm not making as many calls. I'm watching more TV now than I ever have. I'm not reading. And I said, when was the last time you went to a networking event? I'm not going to mix and mingle happy hours. When was the last time you hosted an event, Lauren? Like an in-home in my own house? When was the last time I went through my entire downline and asked for referrals, right? My energy around ATMs. I'm texting people. I tell everybody a voice memo. I got real clear and I'm like, I'm misaligned because my energy coming across, I don't care how great of a texter you are, it's not the same. To be like, what's up? Good morning. I landed on your page. I want to chat with you. From like, hey, I have a hold of an opportunity in a 3-step simple system. We should talk. Like, what message do you want to get on the other side? Okay. So real clear. And you guys, you can already see it. Like, what? No wonder why I'm not rank advancing. So I drew my little avatar, drew my little picture over here, and I put pictures like I'm snoozing, right? Like a little TV around it, like I'm not getting up at 5:30, 6 a.m. like I used to, you know, that I'm having more conversations, not I would say around drama, but I wrote drama, but meaning more just like things that are not very productive, you know, like I don't get into gossip ever, but it's more just like blah, blah, blah. I get off the phone. I'm like, well, that's 30 minutes of my life that is not helping anything, you know, like those are the things I drew. And then with your step 4, it's like, how does that queen show up, right? Like, how is that person different that's going to 10x my business? That's going to bring in all of those people, right? All those rank advancements. And I wrote this list of characteristics. And that last step is like to write a queen asking for that. Like you're calling in your help. You're calling in from the universe, from God, like from spirit, from your tools or whatever. It's like, I need your help in the desire to help me make choices. Like, I know you have the answers, right? And you write this letter. I can send you screenshots of this, you guys. If you don't have the book, I'm happy to do it. But it's like, you know, when it comes to procrastinating, give me the skill set to get my ass into work. Like, I'm calling to be the most disciplined, hardworking, clear, focused queen you created me to be. And it was fun. And I mean, like, I did this laying out on a lawn chair in my backyard the other day. And I'm telling you, this was like 5 days ago. I mean, anyone in my business chat, when was it? I sent you the pictures of this. Like, literally a paradigm shift in days, like in days of how I've showed up, how I've gotten ready, where I've been, the enrollments that I've had. And I'm like, damn, like, I know this. I'm teaching this to you guys. And I'm like reminding you, just like Danielle said, like, it works, but you've got to be really, really, really consistent with this. Okay. So for the sake of time, I am not going to have you guys all do that right now, but I wanted to give you it so you can work on it at your own time, right? Those 4 steps. And if you look up, I'm sure Audacity to be queen and like what that is, those 4 steps of like identifying what you want most, you know, what are the things that are misaligned, what does it look like when you are aligned, and then like requesting like the help. I'm sure you can find it online. It's Audacity to be queen. Evan's asking again. It's amazing, but I want to leave you with just one thing. And I debated if I was going to do this, but I am. And if I cry, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh wait, I'm in the wrong thing and I have to find my pictures. Hold on. Because I took a picture of it. So I wasn't having to do what I'm doing right now, which is search for this. But I want to leave you with this. And this is because I love you guys so much that I'm going to share this with you. Okay. It is really, really easy or less difficult to set a goal when your belief is there, when it's something you know you are capable of, okay? When you truly, truly, truly believe it's possible. So for example, I had so many people between Janie and Eric Coover and Kathy Coover like pour into me so early on. My belief was high that I was going to be a good network marketer. And I look back, my calls were so terrible. My posts were so terrible. Like why anybody came to an event, I really have no idea. I was like young, arrogant, like I really have no idea. But people told me I was amazing. And so I thought I was amazing. And that's what I put out. And my belief was there. So when it was like, hit a goal for 2-star, hit a goal for millionaire, hit a goal to go to, you know, top achievers, hit a goal to go to President's Quest, I could do it. I can do that now. If Jessica was on this call, I know she's in Vegas, but if she was on this, you guys are probably going to watch it and now call me out. That said, all right, what's your platinum date, right? And if that was a challenge that would happen, I'm like, okay, because I'm aligned right there. When you are working on goal setting in areas that it's tough, in areas that you like don't believe it's going to happen, the vulnerability is real. The fear is real. But if you can get away from this call that you are leading your own destiny, okay? That you truly are writing the path of what's coming and what hasn't even happened yet, it is so powerful. So many of you, some of you, not most of you, know that my husband and I are in an IVF journey right now. That's why I didn't go to Cabo. And it was so scary when I started to talk about it to people and I started to write out goals. And Jess also has IVF babies. You guys probably know that. I mean, another reason why God has brought us together and we've become the best of friends. And I was talking to her one day, driving to an appointment, and Angie, look at that, see? And I was saying something, she's like, how are you feeling? And what I was basically saying is, I'm so afraid of it not working, right? I was like, I drive to this clinic every day. This is so much money, like all these friggin' shots I'm giving myself right now. Like I didn't go to Cabo. And I thought like, like for what? Like this whole thing is gonna be like crazy if it doesn't happen. And she, I mean, like a U-turn of mindset because of her conviction, her belief. And she goes, Lauren, it's already happened. You are just going through the steps. And she's like, God has the most perfect egg, Ryan's most perfect sperm. The baby's there. I already see you calling me, telling me you have this many embryos, like you're pregnant. You can't do this because you're not drinking. Like it's already happened. She's like, what do you even talk about right now? And I am so grateful and so fortunate that I have messages from Laura Lori, from Ann, from Holly, from Emily Sutherland, from Jessica Rigner, from Erica's mom, Janie, like pouring this belief into me, like it already happened. So when I started writing those types of goals out, like, holy shit, you know, but I will tell you guys, if I could show you the science and the data and what happened in my hormones and my egg count since this, it is like supernatural. And very few people know that, but this is what I started writing. So I said, dear God, I'm ready to be a mom and I'm ready for a healthy miracle baby. I know you have the most perfect sperm and the most perfect egg ready to make the most perfect baby for Ryan and me. Please show up in my life with confidence, trust, and faith. Remind me that we are in your hands and grow me to be the best mom and wife you created me to be. I'm asking you to flow through me every day in a greater way through the process so that we are relaxed, supported, and with you always. Thank you for loving me unconditionally and proudly. And so it is. And I started reading this every single day. And when I went in for my first ultrasound and they did the count, they told me that I was going to have 3 eggs, and basically none would make it after fertilization to embryos because of my age and my egg health. So I had 11, and right now I have 4 little frozen embryos on ice. And from the day one to that, and so much of it was this. So I don't want to leave you like this is all about me, but I want you to see the power behind it. And every day that I kept thinking, oh my God, they told me I have 3. Like my acupuncturist was like, how many do you really have? Let's pick a number. Let's get so clear on how many. Let's grow these baby follicles. And I would go to like acupuncture. We were manifesting together. She's like, how many are on the right? How many on your left? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I do every day in the business. So even when it's scary, and even when you're like, I don't know if I can make $20,000 by celebration, whatever that is, you guys, let us pour belief into you. Get lost in the detail as if it has already happened, because you guys will make it happen. You deserve it. It's happening. It's already out there for you. There's these beautiful plans. You just have to find it, open up all the doors that are ready for you, and do the work. I love you guys so much. Have a great night.